Yeah, yo, sometimes you gotta go to war for what you believe in. Sometimes you gotta go to war for what it is that you want, what you see that's right. I'm about to go to war, but lyrically. War cry, baby. Yeah. Hey yo, war cries echoes in the background. That's the sound of soldiers getting ripped up and tore down. Lyrically dismantle metaphors and manhandle. Marauder with Welcome back to another edition of Impose My Will podcast. I am your host, Ramone. Got my brother Joe with me, my brother AT. Fellas, how y'all feeling?
Feeling great, as Ryan Garcia would say, with highly favored or some crap like that.
Right. AT, how you feeling?
Same here, man. Blessed. Thankful for another day.
Word, man. Hope y'all staying cool, man. It's been, hot everywhere. Feel like in the country, unusually hot some places, man. So hope everybody is staying cool. So this episode is episode 5, and in this particular edition, our goal is to examine the Stevenson versus, how do you pronounce this man's name?
Artem. Just say Artem.
Artem, right? Artem. We're gonna go with Artem.
Artem H.
Right.
Artem.
with Artem H. The full card. And then also maybe have some commentary about Shakur, what his next steps is going to be. As we all know, this was his last fight on Top Rank ESPN. Everybody has had some kind of commentary, including Bob Arum himself, many boxing pundits, our peers in the new media, etc. So we want to go ahead and really kind of start breaking down this card. So I'll go ahead and just name the fight, and then we'll just go round robin style and start breaking it down. So the first fight was Abdullah Mason versus Louis LeBron. AT, I want to start with you. If you had the opportunity to see it in its entirety, which it wasn't a lot to see, as we know, but what's your thoughts and your feelings on that fight, man?
I didn't see it live, but I went back and watched it, caught it, and from what I see, he's really explosive offensively. So that he had a lot of ammo. My man didn't have enough to handle that. So he broke him down very impressively. Is he at? I think he's at 135, ain't he?
I believe so. Yeah,
I believe he is, but he definitely got a lot of potential. But as always with a younger guy, you just want to see them continue to progress and see how they look when the competition step up. Now that LeBron guy, I don't think he was that bad, but that looked like a showcase. So the hand speed and the offensive repertoire was crazy. I was very impressed with that. So that's somebody I'm definitely gonna be looking out for him, checking him, seeing how he progresses.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah, man. I feel the same way. Joe, did you get a chance to peep that one?
Yeah, I actually watched a couple times, and like AT was saying, he is very explosive. A lot of people have talked about him being a great prospect. He's what 14-0 now,
right?
I think after that fight, and yeah, like you say, he just pretty much was like a showcase fight. I kind of feel like some of the fighters was picked to be like, to make the guys look good, but you know how Top Rank been getting down anyway when picking their fighters. But yeah, he was explosive. Pretty much didn't give the man no chance at all to really do anything. I actually like to see what direction he ended up going to next. So
yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. Same thing y'all said. I caught I believe it was like the tail end of when the fight concluded. So I had to go back, watch the fight. Again, it was a showcase, like Joe said. He was explosive, he was powerful, he was quick, fast. And he let his hands go. He did his work. Not a whole lot to say about that fight. I agree with AT. Decent opponent, right? But I mean, it was still completely one-sided. I'm interested in seeing what his future is going to be. You're doing good when you're starting to get into arguments with other cats, who are quote unquote above you in the sport, right? Who've already, you know, kind of not surpassed him, but have been here before him and making moves. When you start getting into you know, arguments with those dudes and stuff, you know, you're on their radar at that point. So I think his future is potentially bright. And there may be some bigger fights on the horizon. He is 14-0. Actually, I think this makes him 15-0. If I'm not
Yeah, I
mistaken.
think that would have made him.
Yeah, this makes him 15-0. So he has a good record. He's been around for a little bit, man. And yeah, definitely looking to see him continue to rock out, man. Any other comments about him?
Yeah, dudes will argue with you when they feel that pressure. You ain't
Yeah.
feel no pressure. You wouldn't
Right.
be you wouldn't be arguing with him. Like, oh,
Yeah.
they nipping at me. Yeah,
He got hated.
somebody
Yeah,
on my radar.
Yeah. Yeah.
he got haters now, so
Absolutely.
you know he's doing something right.
Right. Right. That's how you know. You know, I'm trying to think if I should even say the names right now because I don't really want to dive too deep into that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
nah,
Because
who was it though? I
I
didn't
think
catch who it was.
I
Who I
think
guess
I think him
snipping
and
at him.
I think him and Keyshawn Davis had some words. Um,
Mm.
him and somebody else had some words too. I can't.
I thought it was Tiafimo said
Tiafimo. I'm
something
sorry,
about it.
Tiafimo
Yeah.
Lopez. Him and Tiafimo Lopez
hmm
had words. Um, Tiafimo, listen, Tiafimo running his mouth like crazy though, all over the place. I don't know if
Oh
he's
yeah.
fishing for a fight.
hmm
You know, he
That's
pump faked
pressure
a
though.
lot.
That's definitely pressure because they both on top rank too. So
Yeah,
you know if he
yeah,
Yeah.
move up, then
yeah,
that's cold red. If he move up to 140 for you, so you know he trying to tamper it down before it get hot in case
yeah.
he jump.
To be honest with you, I think people smell blood now with Teal. I think people
Absolutely.
gonna be coming for him. hmm
Yeah,
You know,
he barbecue chicken out there.
yeah, yeah. Like,
right.
like we talked about last week. It was hard to even stay up for that fight for me, man. It was a tough one, man. I wasn't impressed at all. I didn't think he looked that good.
Nah.
Um, you know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't that great of a fight. So let's move on to the next fight, man. And the next fight was um give me 1 second. I'm jumping ahead a little bit because there's a particular fight that I can't wait for us to talk about, and it's not necessarily uh Shakur's fight. Y'all know y'all know who I'm talking about. But the
I
next
have
fight
no
was
idea. What are you talking about?
right, right. So the next fight on that card, if I'm not mistaken, was it Oshaki Foster or
I
was
think
the
it was
fight?
Keyshawn.
Keyshawn.
I'm
Oshaki
sorry.
was a
Keyshawn
title
Yeah,
fight.
Davis.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Mm.
Keyshawn Davis had a fight against the Mexican, and excuse me for not being so prepared, but you know what I'm saying. It is what it is. But let's see who his opponent was again. Give me 1 sec. So Keyshawn fought
Like his name was an
Miguel.
M. Yeah,
His name was Miguel
Yeah, Miguel.
Mundunio. Miguel Mundunio. If I'm pronouncing it right, excuse me. You know our Spanish speaking
Eminem. Just
brothers.
say it was
Eminem. Eminem. Um, I can if it's cool, I start this one off. Fighter of the night to me. Um, Keyshawn's fighter of the night to me as well. I thought he fought a great fight. It was a great fight, but also um, his opponent Miguel was durable. He was a durable opponent. He pushed forward all night long. He wasn't going. You know what I'm saying? Win, lose, or draw. He
Right.
wasn't going. But I thought Keyshawn fought a beautiful fight. Um, and I'm not like the biggest Keyshawn Davis fan, but I'm becoming a bigger fan of Keyshawn Davis as you know, as his career keeps going and his opposition gets better. That's kind of like how I judge every fighter, like as they fight better opposition and we see them in situations that we haven't seen them before and they start to make adjustments, then we kind of start to see what kind of fighter you're gonna be, and really what you're made out of. And not that the fight was difficult for Keyshawn per se. It was just good to see him work the way he worked, move the way he moved. Very accurate with his shots, high output. Again, he fought a very durable opponent as well. But it was an entertaining fight. Um, but At, how you feel about that one, man?
I felt the same way. That was a good learning experience for him because it was somewhat of a step up in competition because my man had 31 wins, 28
Yeah,
by knockout. So we know he got verified power. So to
yeah,
see Keyshawn take that on, I do think each fight, he you can tell he's learning with Bomac because he's getting more fluid as far as his transition from offense to defense. I've seen a lot of times where he threw his shot, his right hand or a hook back, and within doing that, he still was getting his hands up. Now, I will say that sometimes he did get a little lax in there defensively where he got hit with some clean shots that probably could have been avoided. And a higher level fighter, it might not work out as much because they might be more precise than this guy was. But this guy was durable. He could take a good punch. And it was a few times I thought Keyshawn had him out of there, but he kept coming back strong. So
yeah.
it's good to see. It's good to see him progressing. That's what I like to see as far as competition wise, and it's forcing you to develop other parts of his game. So I
Mm-hmm.
like what I see with Keyshawn. He's another one. I think he still talks too much. He a lot of talking, but
Mm-hmm.
knowing that Top Rank ain't gonna give you these fights you want immediately. So
Yeah,
I'm basically that's like me talking mess to you, but somebody holding me back. I know it's gonna get broke up before it get unleashed. So it's no need to really be talking as much as he talked. You
right.
just need to keep winning impressively. It's gonna be inevitable. You're gonna be a number one contender or whatnot, or mandatory for a title. So keep working,
Yeah.
more work. Let's talk. But
Right.
but it was impressive. I like to see the growth he's showing. Pause.
Let me ask you a quick question before we go over to Joe. But based on what we've seen um, this weekend and what we've seen up to this point with Keyshawn, do you think he's where do you see him at right now? Like, do you think he's ready for a larger step in competition, or should they still continue to kind of slowly build him up the way they're doing? Do you think based on his performance and performances that he has what it takes to fight maybe a top, I would say not necessarily a top 3 or a top 5 guy, but maybe a top 10 guy at this point? Let's say, no, I'm not going to use that name, but maybe a top 10 guy.
At this point, a lot of times I'm not sure he's ready yet, but the way he talks so much like he is. So
Yeah,
sometimes when people keep asking for something, give them what they ask for. And
sure,
if you
sure.
ready, you either water gonna rise to his level.
Mm-hmm,
So if you go up on the top 10 and you really supposed to be up there, you're gonna
mm-hmm.
hold your own. Or if you go up there and you swim in them waters and they too deep, it's gonna expose you. But
Yep,
you're
yep,
doing a lot of talking, but I mean Andy Cruz is still out there for you.
yeah,
Almost still is
yeah,
building up. He
yeah,
did skunk you in the amateurs and take that gold medal from you. So you could easily get
yeah,
that work right there. He been calling you out too.
absolutely. I still want to see him and Frank Martin. I still think that based on the contention, that fight would kind of sell itself. Um, what we saw with them pressing each other. They stay jabbing at each other because of the basically the in-house rivalry that Arrow had with Terrence. That's Terrence little
Yeah.
man. That's Arrow's little man's for the most part. So I think that I still want to see that fight. I think that'll be a good fight. Joe, what's your thoughts, brother?
I definitely agree with both of y'all. I definitely thought that night. Um, Great opponent for Keyshawn Davis to have that night with him. Miguel kept pressure on him, and I've never really seen too many fights of Keyshawn Davis actually being pressured like that. And
Right.
like you say, he was hitting him out of the moving around very well through that fight. Um, Again, talk too much or whatever. He also, I think, started to smell himself a little bit in like the fourth or fifth round, where he seemed like he started to play around a little bit. And like you said, I think he could have got Miguel, but then, like you said, Miguel wasn't going. He was, coming back and pressing him. And I think that's where he almost messed up a couple times because Miguel did catch him with a couple shots or whatever. And then, like, I felt like towards the end of the fight, it started to get a little sloppy or whatever. I think Miguel was probably getting a little frustrated or whatever. After that point, in the later rounds, it was like, all right, y'all, come on now. Like, but I think Keyshawn Davis definitely had a spectacular performance or whatever in that fight, holding his own. What's next going to be for him? I'm not sure who, but like you said, the way he's talking could get somebody he may not be ready for just yet. But I think he's a solid fighter. I think he's going to definitely be able to hold his own. But I think he needs to take his time and ease his way and grow through the ranks. Don't try to bite off too much more than he could chew or whatever right now. But yeah, excellent.
Where is he ranked at? And is he in the top 20 or whatnot?
I would say yeah, but if we take a quick,
he gotta be.
Take a quick box
rec. If he top 20, then sure, you can creep up the top 15 competition. Keep slowly working your way up.
Right.
Depending on which sanctioning body, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I gotta check out where he actually is currently ranked. This weekend probably moved him up a little bit from where he was. But he. Another thing is that yes, he does talk a lot of stuff, but he's from a super highly competitive gym, and he might not even really help himself. Like, the people that he trained with, the big dogs in the gym, his coach, is fly at the mouth.
It's a lot of competition in that gym.
A lot of competition. He's being groomed in that way, where he gonna let it fly a little bit because he just come from that competitive group of guys that he's training. We also have to remember Keyshawn, and we always think when we think Keyshawn, we always think Bud Crawford, right? But we also have to remember that Shakur is his man. Like, they tight. You know what I'm saying? They spend a lot of time together. They're around each other, and of course, they both look at Bud Crawford as big bro. And we know this dude is the most competitive. This dude play ball, he run, he wrestle, he do everything. He don't lose. He just is super athlete, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna beat him in a game of dice. You know what I'm saying? Uno, he playing everything. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be competitive. He's gonna win at everything. So when that's the big homie that you around every day, you can't help to be a little bit. At least I probably couldn't, but you can't really help to be a little bit fly at the mouth because the current greatest boxer, is big homie, and you with him every day, and the dude is crazy competitive. Yeah, you're gonna listen, man. You're gonna talk your stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, he probably talk more than what Bud actually does, but Bud is a veteran. He's been around forever. He doesn't, he ain't got to be crazy fly like that in the mouth. But them dudes, man, they're some wild cats in a good way. Some wild cats. So
Crawford usually talk though when you go at him, he'll respond. He usually don't initiate it. Keyshawn be initiating a lot of this.
Yeah. No, he
so he hungry though.
But that is correct. But usually, if you cool, he cool. You know what I'm saying? Unless you somebody who's, who been poking at him, he gonna get at you. We've seen a few times, even when, him and Arrow have been kind of back and forth prior to the fight for a bit, but it died down. And then he out in the water talking about, you know what I'm saying? when he was out in the water talking about I'm looking for the fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's all fun and games. It's all part of it.
Even that fight time, Crawford was kind of chill. Errol Spence kind of ramped it up a little bit talking, and then once you opened the can of worms, it was too late. You got him going.
Derrick James came out of character. I was like, this ain't even you. What you doing? You know what I'm saying? But Yeah. Word, man. So yeah. Keyshawn is dope. I'm looking forward to him. I just hope that he stays disciplined. Um, you know what I'm saying, and take it as serious as possible, man. He got a special gift. He kind of reminds me of and let me know if y'all feel the same way. But he kind of reminds me of AB in his earlier years. And what I mean by that is, especially if you look at the way he put together combinations, once Keyshawn um, starts putting them together, it's almost impossible for you to stop his hands from going the way he put them together. AB was a rhythm fighter like that too. Once he get into that rhythm, you know what I'm saying, and start putting it together, very difficult to keep him up off of you. So he kind of reminds me again, just in that aspect, no other aspect, but just in that aspect. Once he catches rhythm, he becomes a monster out there. So I don't know if y'all peep that or y'all feel that same
I
way or
think
not.
he probably is a little, even with that, I could see similarities, but he's just way more leading and aggressive in his approach.
Sure.
AB kind of
Yeah.
was, he get his rhythm going and he start flowing, but
Yeah.
Keyshawn seemed like he'll force the action more than waiting to get it
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. He's focused with his attacks or whatever. Like
Yeah.
very focused with it. So
Yeah, and I only mean it in that sense though. Like nothing else. We know he pushed the action. You know he gonna fight. He'll sit in the pocket with you. You know what I'm saying. He fight you in many different ranges. But I was just saying just more on the rhythm thing. Once he catch the rhythm, it's pretty much up from there. That's all I meant. That's all I meant. So yeah, man, I would love to. I think Keyshawn got mad options. Um, as far as where he can go. I think he could fight a top 10 guy, or he can keep going a route where I'm not going to say they're giving him easy tests, but they're slowly but surely stepping up the competition. Um, and being that his
What's
record
his
is what it
record?
is,
Yeah, what's his record?
I think he is
Yeah,
he.
about
he's
11 and 0
11
or
and
something
0.
like that,
Let
10
me
or
see.
something.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
tell you right now.
He don't
11
even
to
got
no.
fit.
I
He don't
think that
got
might have made him
15 fights,
12.
I don't believe, or so.
Nah,
I'll tell you right now.
I want to say 11 to no.
So
Sean
technically,
Davis
yeah,
is. Oh shoot! Hold on one second.
you gotta think about it. He 11 fights or 12 fights in, and we like, yo, you need a top 10 guy. So that let you know right there. He
I'll
making
let you know.
progress.
I definitely
Mm-hmm.
let you know that he's on people's radar. Um, oh, hold on, man. They wilding. Hold on one second. I'll tell you this record. Okay, so Keyshawn is 11 and 0. 11 and 0. Still a young career, still just kind of setting out, but you know, his skill level is at that point where people are like, oh, throw him in there with somebody. You know what I'm saying? A top 10 guy or whatever the case may be, but still very early.
Mm-hmm.
I think with just realizing that he 11 and 0, I would probably keep it the same. Just step up his competition a little bit until he get a decent amount of victories and looks, and then put him in there with somebody bigger. So, and he a big dude, man. He's not going to be staying at that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
At that weight division for too long. He's a bigger cat, man. So it's sky's the limits for him. Sky's the limits for him. All right, fellas, let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Oh,
Oshaki
Shaki.
Foster. Oshaki Foster versus what? How was we pronouncing his last name? Robson
Robson, Conceição, something.
Conceição. No, it's different. It's Brazilian. It's a
We
little
don't want to
different.
mess up your name. We apologize in
We
advance, man.
apologize. We apologize, big homie.
Right.
Yo, Joe, go ahead, set us off, man.
Man, in this fight, great. Or what? I felt like it was a clinic for him. His shots, he was letting his hands go, hitting them with some great precision shots, getting around a lot of his punches, punching through a lot of the blocks. Yeah, and at least 10-2, 11-1.
Right. Yeah.
The man got completely robbed that night. Like, and I felt bad for him because he looked like he was ready to cry in the ring at the end. Like,
His
that
eyes was
hurt when
watering.
you
Looked like
put
he
on the
was
excellent
crying.
performance.
Yeah.
He probably, yeah.
Yeah, like you put on that excellent act and you get that taken away from you. And
Mm-hmm.
Robson, he came out there, he fought hard, but his punches wasn't causing no effect on him. It didn't even look like he had much on his punches. But yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I give him credit for continue to come for the with the attack, but like you lost that fight. I mean, I know you had a lot to fight for, but I
Yeah.
honestly feel like that was one of those top ranked robberies because that was his rank. We're coming to the end of it, and it's like, gotcha.
Right. Right.
They snatched it from him, and it's like, yo,
Yeah.
like what do you do now or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, I hope he keep his head on straight and actually come back and hopefully he gets. But this is one of the things where we talked about it before. You gotta. Well, we was talking about it the other day. You gotta fight. Come in,
Yeah.
fight. I get it. You want to, not get hit. You want to, stay in control, and you think. Don't give these judges any chance to take this fight away from you, because that's exactly what happened. Like, don't give them no chance to take that fight away from you.
Mhm.
So,
Good points, bro. Good points, man. At to us, Anthony to y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with a lot of what Joe just said. These type of fights, you come in there. I ain't saying the man was Oshaki was coming there like he was too cool for school, but you just never know what time these judges gonna be on. You don't know if they seeing all the good work you doing, so you gotta kind of make sure. All right, let me be active. Let me make sure these shots I'm landing is clean. Sometimes they will give credit for aggression even if it's not effective. It seemed like Robson was following him around a lot of the night, really didn't have no
mhm.
answers for nothing, but you just don't know what the judges be seeing sometimes. And it's unfortunate because in the way he fought, he probably did deserve to win. But sometimes them judges be on some I couldn't see this or my view is obstructed. So
Mhm.
you gotta, and then we'll probably talk about that in the main event. You got to
Mhm.
make sure you don't even want to give it no type of question or inkling for them to
Right.
lean it that way. But I do think Oshaki probably did enough, but it is unfortunate for him to lose his belt like that because now you lose your belt. If you didn't have no rematch clause, then you're not getting that shot back, and then you might have to get knocked back to the back of the line. And
Yeah.
Robson, he kind of been a bridesmaid for a few of them fights. He probably got robbed against Valdez, but
Mhm.
the other few times he stepped up, he lost. Like he lost to Shakur. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Did he lose to Navarrete or
Yeah.
I can't remember if he
Yeah. I
did,
think he
but
did lose another
the
already.
few
Yeah.
times he stepped up, he kept losing. And
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
time, I guess he just was over aggressive and he was blessed to get awarded a decision.
Yep.
He might be food though, so people might be foaming out the mouth as soon as he might go on the
Right.
award tour. He might try to avoid some work, but that's
Mhm.
unfortunate. But it was as always you got to be mindful as a boxer. You just never know what they're looking for the judges, so you want to make sure even if you landed clean like that, then you should be able to ramp it up more. Keep
Right.
making it
Right.
clear as day. Because if you landing and then you admiring your work or you dancing in there moving,
Hmm.
the judges might think some of that's getting through, even when it ain't.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I want to real quick. I'm just see if I could pull up um his record. Um,
Well,
Robson.
Shaki's.
Robson. No,
Oh, my bad.
Shaki. He has 3 losses. Um. All right. So he lost to. He had a. It went to decision for Navarrete. It was
I thought he won that Valdez fight that they didn't give it to him. That's the one I think Valdez tested dirty, and they still let him fight in
Oh yeah,
Arizona
yeah,
a couple
crazy.
years back.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that one was crazy. But so this is unfortunate. Um, this time the judges got it wrong. Um, and sometimes the judges get it wrong, and it be on margins, sometimes slight margins, but then sometimes they get it completely wrong. And in my opinion, this particular fight they got it completely wrong. But this also kind of there's a bigger issue in my opinion, right? And the issue is that boxing has changed a lot from what we look at and what we consider to be. And when I say we, I'm talking about the collective boxing community, not just us three. But what is good boxing, or not even good boxing? I guess you could use that term, good boxing versus bad boxing, right? So in this particular case, I do believe that the judges awarded Robson's aggression more than anything. They had to. They had to. He was pushing forward all night. Like you said, he didn't land anything of much major significance at all. Um, hell, I mean, he is crazy, right? As a matter of fact, before I go into what I was going to say, it just came out today that Bob Arum, I guess he was flipping because it was said that the judges went off of the CompuBox numbers and what the CompuBox numbers showed, right? Like, bruh, like
how do they even get access to that? Ain't you just supposed to be just looking at the fight?
I don't know. I don't know how you get access to that. But that, I mean, again, that just shows that we got a big problem going on. It's like the judges are not judging it based off the sweet science of boxing, right? Off the art, right? The goal, the art is to hit and not be hit. Period. That's the main goal in boxing. And for the most part, that's what Oshaki did. He hit and got and didn't get hit. He was defensive for most of the fight. I get it, but he wasn't really hit with nothing major. And I feel like they robbed him. I don't blame him for being in the ring almost about to cry, or was crying for the most part, because just like AT said, now he loses his titles. He may have to fall back to the bottom of the barrel, fight his way up. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a multitude of things that actually
They might
happen.
drop. Average purse per fight might drop. You lose the
Exactly.
belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to take lower money before you have to build yourself back up, and it's going to be
Yeah,
tough to
that
build
hurts.
yourself.
That's a defense. Yeah, it's a title defense. That hurts.
The title defense. You lost the title defense. So all those things, man. Unfortunately, the judges got it wrong. You know, my heart goes out to Oshaki. You can feel his hurt in that ring. He felt
Oh,
like he
hell
was
yeah.
robbed. All of the boxing pundits say he was robbed during the ring interview. I forget
Yeah,
the
he
guy's
said it.
name. He said I had it 11-1. If that counts for any constellation, right?
Yeah, wasn't that Mark Krieger or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He said I
Krieger,
had it
yeah.
11-1, right? Or
Yeah,
constellation. I'm
Oshaki
sorry.
thought it was a shutout.
It was, and everybody else did too, and everybody else did too,
Right.
except for the judges.
Dang,
Except for
bro.
the judges. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that hurts boxing, in my opinion, man. It's one, and bad judging happens everywhere, right? But the thing about boxing is like the wild wild west in a lot of ways, because there is no real policing of certain things, right? He's just gonna have to eat this. There's no overturning. You always hear about people saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take it to court." Nothing ever actually happens. There's never overturn. It's different in the UFC. Dana White will, at the end of the match, flip out. I mean, at the end of the card, when they're doing the post fight interviews, and flip out on the judges. The judges had it wrong. Da, 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 da. I don't know if they overturn those either.
Did
But
Robinson test dirty for Osterine or something?
Who you say?
Did he test dirty for Oscarine? That might
Oh
be his
man,
only chance.
could be, man. It could be, but you know, those are just some of the shortcomings of boxing, um, because of how divided boxing is by nature. Um, you're gonna have this happen. Those same judges gonna be on something next week or the week after or something like
They
that.
was judging the Shakur fight, wasn't they? Didn't they say the
Yeah,
same judges was doing the Shakur?
yeah, yeah.
Right
So
then.
there you go. You know, so it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. So before we get out of here, let's go ahead and touch on the main event. That's Shakur Stevenson. Um, y'all can go ahead and say homie's name. What's his name? At. How you
Artem
pronounce it?
H.
Yeah, Artem H. H. We just gonna say Artem H. Um, At, man, go ahead and break that one down for us, bro.
This got multi layers to it. I don't even know if we had time for all of
Right,
this, but
right,
Shakur
right.
Stevenson, overall, he gave a excellent, a clean boxing performance.
Yep.
Far as I did think he started a little too slow, given what happened in the previous fight before, Oshaki kind of getting jerked by the judges. Pause. But with that, Shakur, he did good. He didn't run the whole fight. He stayed there in the pocket. He hit
Yeah.
and moved, countered, parried, and basically he fought a great fight. And I think he could have stopped him if he just ramped up the work rate a little more. So
Right.
he did a great job in that. And Artem taking punishment after a while. Artem was just got to the point where he was just trying to survive. So
Right.
Shakur could have ramped the gas and maybe touched the body a little more and could have got him out of there. At least you don't even have to like drop him. Just do enough to the point where the refs stop it. So, but overall in that, Shakur, he did excellent. I didn't like how he was going back and forth with his corner. I just don't think. I think fight night you just got to be united. Even if they saying something you don't agree with, or you're like, I got it. I don't think you should be talking back and forth with your corner like that. But
Right.
overall, it's a good performance, a better performance than he did against De Los Santos, and I'm glad. I, I wanted to see the knockout, but I'm glad he didn't go beyond himself. Because sometimes you can't fight to the crowd. So do what got you there. You see what happened when Devin Haney didn't fight the way he's supposed to fight. It can not go in your favor. So I'm glad he won and he did what he had to do. But overall, it's a good fight, clean performance.
Oh, so Joe, what's your thoughts, bro?
No, I agree with AT, especially what you were saying that you like the fact that he didn't like play to the crowd. Going for the knockout. He was very poised in this fight. Like you said, I did think he started off just everything what happened with the previous fight, even with just how everybody talked about his last fight or whatever. You know what I mean? It was, just a little bit slow, a little dry, but watching it, I saw nothing but confidence from Shakur in this fight. Like, on a guy, you see him kind of smiling, saying the question, but you could tell he did respect Adam. You heard Frank say it too, and you heard him talk about it, like, yo, he got a little pop or whatever. Adam got a little bit of power with his punch, and I think a couple times Shakur felt it out of that. He was just, controlling the fight. And I honestly felt like he was just fighting to stay in control. When he got into it with his grandfather in the corner or whatever, his grandfather wanted the knockout. But it was like, he was talking about, oh, I got him. And then he's just trying to survive or whatever, and just that back and forth. It was like, I think his grandfather was telling him to get the knockout for the fact that how people are viewing you as a fighter. If you want to kind of exceed and go to that next level, you need to give him that wow factor. But I think is honestly cool with just winning and not getting hit. Like you said, and about the last fight, your main key is to hit, not get hit, and he
Right.
did exactly that. So
Yep.
those fights, are they boring? Unfortunately, yes. But the sweet sign, uh, perfect fight or whatever. So
Yep.
can't take nothing away from him on that one. Good fight, and hopefully he gets the fights that he wants next. But hey, he got a lot on his plate right now. But yeah, good fight for him.
Absolutely. Shout out to the good brother over at Cigar Talk. He was able to procure an interview with Shakur literally a few days after um, the fight, and it's a good length. It's maybe what 30-40 minutes or something like that. And
Something like that.
yeah. And so we were able to kind of get into the mind a little bit of Shakur, what he was dealing with, thinking about during the fight. The interesting thing is that Shakur is affected by what people say. Um, he's not one of those guys that can he hasn't really learned how to shut things down, shut the social media off, turn away from boxing pundits and their thoughts and stuff like that. So when people say you're boring, or you need more knockouts, he's 22-0, 10 knockouts, all these different things, it does affect him, and he was honest and truthful with saying that, which is why he fought Artem a little different than he fought his last opponent, Edwin De Los Santos, which he got a lot of crap for. He got a lot of bad press for. And unfortunately, he's kind of getting a lot of bad press for this fight, right? I wanted to go in deeper. I wanted to go a lot deeper with this fight, but I'm sure we'll come back around at some point and talk more about Shakur as he's a rising star. But I will say this, going back to saying the same thing, Joe, you said, what I uttered about O'Shaquie Foster, the goal is to hit and not be hit, period. Like, it is not, knockouts are fun. Knockouts get you popularity quicker and all these different things. True. But winning a fight is really the only objective, and how you win it is how you win it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't get a knockout, great. You know what I'm saying? But what if you get knocked out in the process? Then that's not good for you. The objective is to win, and he's a winner. And he's uber talented because he shows you different. He has different styles. His style, this fight, was completely different from his style in the previous fight. He stayed right on him. He stayed fighting him. Not a whole lot of moving back or anything like that. So, I mean, you can't please everybody. And I hope Shakur comes to that conclusion that you got to do what's best for you and your particular style, right? You got a style that is amazing, but boring to them, not necessarily boring to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a real boxing fan. I'm a true boxing fan, and I really love the art and the science of pugilism. And casual fans don't. They want everybody to be Mike Tyson. They can't wait for the days that boxing go back to just people getting knocked out left and right, so on and so forth. But that's just not who he is, and I hope he understands that. He touched on the thing with his granddad too, going back and forth with his granddad, and he said a lot of really negative things about ESPN and Top Rank in the interview. I'm not sure if y'all saw it.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll get around to it.
Yeah.
But
it ain't no going back, bro.
No, it done got kind of ugly now, right? So he said he believed that they did that on purpose. They kind of, got up in their face when they were having their back and forth dispute on purpose to paint a picture. He said, in truth, him and his grandfather have gone back and forth like that in many fights, in other fights, right? He said, but his grandfather was right. His grandfather wanted him to get back to setting up the jab, because when he was using the jab and setting up, it was effective. He probably could have got the knockout by setting up the jab. But he was saying, no, I got this guy. He about to go down. I'm about to crush him. He was like, no, get back to the jab, set him up. You're going to get him out of there for the most part, right? But, they went back and forth, and it was shown, unfortunately, on TV. And now they trying to kind of paint him out to be, a fighter who doesn't
disrespectful.
Right, disrespectful.
Technically, he was.
Well,
I
sure,
mean,
sure.
they only
He
can
was,
show what
yeah,
you give them.
yeah.
So
And he
Well,
was
that's their relationship though too. Do you
that,
kind of
but
like
that's
saying like
and that's what
that
he talked.
background?
That's what he talked about. He said, this is my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? Like their relationship is past the ring. I'm not. I get that, right? But y'all win the
Mm-hmm.
ring, so you should respect your coach the way you're supposed to respect your coach. But he did say that this is not something that's unusual between the two of them, and also their relationship is different. It's not just coach boxer. It is grandfather grandson, or in their case, it might be more like father and son. You know what I'm saying with them two. So check that interview out. He gave a lot of insight um, about where he's at, where he's going, and just like emotionally where he is as far as things do. I don't know if the term bother him is the best term, but he does listen to this stuff, right? And he tries to make adjustments to please the crowd. But I would say F the crowd, man. Just do you. You know what I'm saying? If you fight
Mm-hmm.
born for the rest of your quote unquote born for the rest of your career, but you go undefeated, what I'm saying, unscathed, perfect record, then ain't nothing they could say to you anyway. The second half of
Right.
Floyd's career, a lot of people try to say he was boring too. You know what I'm saying? They'll do that. They'll throw that on
Still
you
to this day.
till to this day. But boxing
Mm-hmm.
fans who understand the art say differently. We find beauty in moving and dipping out of way of punches and not just sitting there getting caught. You know what I'm saying? And putting
Yeah.
together combinations and slipping. Like we find we see the art and we understand the art. So I just hope
It's a physical chess match.
absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. He got some choices. He might have made some choices already. So his future is potentially bright. I pray it is. But he got some things he got to do for sure. Um, any other concerns, questions, y'all? Anything? There's so much more we could talk about when it comes to Shakur, and we will. We will revisit him probably time and time again. It's a hot topic, but fortunately, we kind of ran out of time for that.
ultimately,
Just wait,
it's
wait and
boring
see.
his style. I mean, boring as a style, whatever you may think it is.
Mhm.
If as a fan,
Mhm.
versus Tank is going to be probably the best fight stylistically of the past 15, 20 years. Because you're going, if they do meet within a year, you're going to have two undefeated fighters in their prime.
Mhm.
A lot of these big fights, it hasn't been that instance. It's always been good fighters, and one might have been hampered by injury, one might have been older, but these are going to be two
Mm-hmm.
strong undefeated champions who none of them given an inch, and both of them in their prime. None of them is affected by major injuries or car
Yep.
crashes or anything like that. So
Yep.
when that day
Yeah.
comes, I look forward to that.
Mhm.
I'll be there in person whenever that is.
Yep.
Yeah. As he starts to get those fights, though, if he does get like a T.O., a Pitbull, like soon when he starts getting those fighters, those fights is just going to be, and that's why I was saying the other day, like he's going to be he's a hot ticket because you want to see, him, see how he's going to display, how he fights. And it's going to be very technical. He's probably one of the very best technical fighters in that weight class. So it's
Right.
like when that time comes,
Mhm.
like you said, it's going to be nothing but bright lights for that time to come. So, but definitely, but
I don't
I
think
want to see him
Pitbull.
fight
I don't think
anybody
they
of high
taking
caliber.
those. I don't think the only person who I think really will be willing to take the fight and believe they can win is Tank. I think all them other
Oh
people,
yeah,
they'll talk it, but
Pitbull is a monster,
they
bro.
not anxious to get in the ring with because Pitbull already passed it up. A
Nah.
few people at 135
Mm-hmm.
declined it, so we'll see though. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. They can only decline it for so long, especially if they're trying to move up
Exactly.
and rank as
Mm-hmm.
well. I think Pitbull will take it, but Pitbull is his mind is kind of pitbullish. He is
He at
trying to
140 though. He's not even at 135.
yeah, but you know
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to Pitbull is trying his damnedest to leverage himself back into a rematch with Tank for multiple reasons. The money's bigger. He feels like he can beat him, so on and so forth. So it's, that's interesting. That's interesting. But yeah, fellas, anything else, y'all?
Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Yo, man, thank y'all for tuning in to Impose My Will podcast, episode 5. We'll get with y'all very soon. Please like, subscribe, share if it touched you. Check us out on social media, Twitter, also known as X, or better known as X, Facebook, IG, Impose My Will podcast. Also, July 27th, we will be representing at the Clarissa Shields fight in Detroit, Michigan. You can identify us. Yep. You can identify as we will be in apparel that says I am IMW or Impose My Will podcast initials. I don't want to mess it up. It's late. Sorry. But we'll be out there. We're gonna be out there looking for all y'all in the Detroit area. I was blessed enough to kind of have a little interaction with Clarissa, so hopefully we get her. We get a couple of questions in and throw on a show and move on there. So looking forward to seeing anybody in the Detroit area at the fight. All right. Peace.
Salute.